You did say some things when we have talked about the kid situation that you didn't want that. You said kids are too expensive and too much of a responsibility, but you can no longer have children.
I never say I want a kid right now. I'm saying this keep bothering me.
In the episode aired November 2nd, 2025, Georgi opens up to Darcy about the pressure he feels from his family, his culture, to have children. He admits he's been unsettled ever since his sister asked him if he wanted kids. I feel in a way that they're expecting me to have kids because that's how is our culture. He tries to say he never claimed he wanted kids right now, but the issue kept bothering him. While Georgi attempts to share his feelings, tensions escalate. Darcy pushes back, stating she cannot give him children and questioning his honesty about his desires. Georgi becomes visibly emotional, telling Darcy, "You don't care about how I feel. That's what's bothering me." He also says, "I just want to try to be open, have a conversation with you. You don't care about how I feel. That's why I don't want to open to nobody, because nobody cares about my feelings." Darcy listens but stands firm on her position. She cannot give him what he truly wants, kids, and she questions whether he had been honest from the start. "You deserve happiness. But so do I. I can't give you what you really, really want. Maybe it's easier for us to move on, sign the divorce papers, and call it a day." She walks away from the conversation, clearly signaling that she feels their marriage may not survive if this remains unresolved. For Georgi, this isn't just a relationship spat. It taps into long-standing cultural expectations and internalized pressure. He's a Bulgarian immigrant, or at least of Bulgarian background, and says his family expects children. That adds weight beyond typical relationship issues. Georgi tries to do something different. Open up emotionally, stop avoiding conversation, try to let his feelings be known. He explicitly says, "I'm trying to open, be vulnerable and open." He's trying to shift his behavior. Despite his attempt, the scene shows how bad communication and unresolved issues sabotage that. He feels unheard. "You don't care how I feel." She feels misled. "You knew what you really want." And the marriage is caught in a circular loop of past statements versus present feelings. Darcy's inability to deliver children and Georgi's shifting desires create a mismatch. Either one or both are changing or never fully aligned, and the vulnerability reveals that gap. It's a classic "we're not on the same page" moment. There is no room in Darcy's atmosphere for Georgi's feelings. The man can't even speak. On Reddit, he kept saying he was trying to figure it all out and that he loved her. Instead of trying to come to a solution, she just completely shut him out. Viewers are showing empathy for Georgi's attempt to open up and the emotional burden he's carrying. Some say he looks drained, as though stuck in a cycle he doesn't want but doesn't know how to exit. Since this is a reality TV show, the drama is amplified, but the underlying emotions feel real. Identity, culture, expectations, communication breakdown. It's not just will they stay together, but what happens when someone tries to be vulnerable and still isn't heard? This conversation feels like a tipping point. Georgi openly questioning, feeling unseen, and Darcy walking away signals real risk for the marriage. They may either seek deeper counseling or move toward separation. The show may use this as a breaking point arc. If they both engage with this vulnerability constructively, it could mark a turning point. Georgi finally gets to express his needs. Darcy works to understand. But if unaddressed, it could deteriorate further. More resentment, more withdrawal, more miscommunication. For Georgi, vulnerability isn't just crying or admitting feelings. It's admitting that he's hurt, that he's been silent, that he's not okay, and that he's given up part of his self for this relationship. The question is whether Darcy can hold space for that. Even if they resolve this moment, Georgi's cultural pressure for children may remain. Darcy's inability to provide, and or her stance on that, may keep coming up. So, the alignment of life goals, children, legacy, family, remains critic. In the newest episode of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Darcy and Georgi's marriage took another nosedive. What began as a chill conversation about maybe having kids turned into a screaming match. The whole thing blew up as he attempted to explain how his family back in Bulgaria continues pressuring him to have children. All of a sudden, the room was filled with shouts, tears, and a big question. Are they still on the same team? In November 2023, they tied the knot in a charming little ceremony, but things haven't been easy since. Even Georgie's sister, who acts as the official family baby boss, is always making fun of him for not having children. For anyone new here, 90 Day Fiance follows couples racing against the clock to marry within 90 days on a K-1 visa. 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after? Sticks around to see if those love stories actually survive. Spoiler alert, Darcy and Georgie's might need subtitles for all the drama. 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after's Georgi opened up about feeling conflicted since his sister questioned him about having children. He became emotional while explaining that he hadn't directly discussed the topic with his parents, but sensed their expectations. I feel in a way that they are expecting me to have kids. Because that's how is our culture, he explained through tears. 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after's Darcy interrupted to remind him she cannot give him children. This reality check led Georgi to admit that something has left him questioning himself about their relationship. Darcy pointed out that Georgi previously expressed reluctance about having children due to financial concerns and other issues. Georgi replied that he is bringing up the subject now because it affects him as her spouse and as a friend. In an attempt to maintain her composure on 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, Darcy said that while she still loved Georgi, it wasn't enough to continue acting as though nothing was wrong. He should be happy, she said, but maybe not with her. Georgi reacted quickly to that on 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after. He pleaded with her to pay attention for once, pointing out that although she always encourages him to share, doing so is like yelling into a whirlwind. The quiet grew louder as he said that he was in pain too, his voice cracking. There was enough drama to create a whole new spin-off, along with typical Darcy and Georgi pandemonium, loud emotions, and conflicting messages. Darcy finally stopped dancing around the truth and said what everyone was thinking. It just wasn't going to work. Georgi started crying once Darcy finished talking. He reached out to hug her, but she pulled back, saying she was tired of doing the same thing over and over and just wanted to live her own life now. He said he loved her, but she was already gone, like mid-sentence gone. Later in her 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after confessional, she said she'd asked him the same questions a million times and never got a real answer anyway. Maybe it was time to sign the papers, close the door, and make a dramatic exit, like the kind where you don't even. On 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, Darcy got upset after learning Georgi is struggling with the pressure he faces to have kids. Georgi lashed out at Darcy after she interrupted him while he tried to be open with her. After parting ways, both Darcy and Georgi wondered what will come of their marriage. Darcy and Georgi's marriage is on the rocks as they butt heads over the pressure Georgi is facing from his family and his Bulgarian culture to have kids. When we last left the couple, Georgi had started to open up to Darcy about the pressures he faced from his family to have kids of his own, leaving his wife unnerved. On Sunday, November 2nd episode of 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, Georgi, 37, even shed a tear over the cultural conflict while baring his soul to his wife, who was adamant that she couldn't have kids herself. Still, Georgi said, there was something that left him questioning myself, as Darcy reminded him of how insistent he was in the past about not wanting children of his own. I never say I want a kid right now. I'm saying this keep bothering me, Georgi protested. When asked why he waited until then to bring it up, he suggested that it kept bothering me. Darcy promised her husband that she would always support him no matter what their relationship status may be. However, she feared their marriage would not last. You deserve happiness, but so do I, Darcy said as she got up from the bar. I can't give you what you really, really want, because you know deep down inside what you really want. You don't want to admit it. Georgi from 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, opens up about reflecting on his feelings, marriage, and family, revealing how a conversation with his sister made him think about having children. During season 9 of 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, viewers have watched Darcy hit some rough patches with her longtime partner, Georgi Rusev. However, fans have taken solace in knowing that the rest of the Silva family has been there supporting Darcy every step of the way. 90 Day Fiance has followed countless couples and TV personalities as their relationships unfold both on and off screen, offering viewers a glimpse into the challenges of cross-cultural romance. One couple known for their fiery, hot and cold dynamic is Darcy Silva and Georgi Rusev. Over the course of the series, their relationship has been marked by passion, conflict, and emotional ups and downs. Although they eventually married, their journey has been far from easy. They returned to season 9 of 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, and the tensions and misunderstandings frequently played out in the public eye again. It made their story one of the most dramatic and closely watched in the franchise. Audiences were first introduced to Darcy Silva in season 1 of 90 Day Fiance, Before the 90 Days, where she dated individuals like Jesse Meester and Tom Brooks, though none of these relationships lasted. It was during her relationship with Tom that she connected with Georgi Rusev on Instagram, where he slid into her DMs. Unbeknownst to Darcy, Georgi was married at the time. Their first meeting happened unexpectedly when they discovered they would both be attending the Super Bowl. From there, their romance began to unfold on the first season of Darcy and Stacey. The couple became engaged twice, but each time their relationship faltered, making it seem unlikely they would end up together. However, on November 11, 2023, they surprised fans by marrying in a small, private ceremony, making the day particularly special for them. They celebrated their first anniversary by traveling to Bulgaria to meet Georgi's family, where Darcy was formally introduced and welcomed. Despite these milestones, their challenges have not disappeared. Tensions arose when Darcy confronted Georgi about not contributing his share of the rent in front of his father, airing private issues publicly, which disrupted things between them. They openly discussed the difficulties in their relationship and even admitted at times that they felt they might have wasted their best years on each other. The current status of Darcy Silva and Georgi Rusev's relationship remains somewhat unclear, as the couple has made no official announcements. Fans have speculated about a possible divorce, noting that the two are no longer connected on social media, have not been seen together publicly, and appear to have limited interaction. While they are still legally married, there seems to be tension brewing behind the scenes. Darcy, in particular, has shared several posts over the past months hinting at independence, describing herself as flying solo and celebrating her freedom. Many interpreted these messages as a subtle way of signaling that she may be single, though it's unclear whether they reflect her current relationship status or are simply EXP. Echelons of self-empowerment. Despite the speculation, reports indicate that their teams have confirmed the couple remains together. It's possible they are choosing to delay any public statement, perhaps waiting for the right timing to align with the reality TV series narrative. While the relationship may be experiencing its share of challenges, there is no concrete evidence that it has ended. Darcy and Georgi's story continues to unfold privately, even as audiences speculate and hope for updates on the couple they have followed for years. Darcy Silva has been a prominent figure in the TLC reality TV world for many years. She and her twin sister, Stacey Silva, co-own the fashion brand House of 11, which has expanded from clothing to home goods, beauty products, and footwear. The sisters also operate a production company, 11th Entertainment, producing various projects. Darcy is a mother to two daughters, Aniko and Aspen, from her previous marriage, and has many things on air plate to focus on. Georgi Rusev previously worked as a massage therapist and has been affiliated with multiple med spas over the years. He currently promotes CPI stem cells in Tijuana, Mexico, and has openly discussed his own aesthetic procedures, including a facelift. As a reality TV personality, he uses his digital presence to connect with brands and expand professional opportunities. He has an active presence on YouTube as well, where she shares behind-the-scenes factoids from his reality TV endeavors. Darcy and Georgi both worry about wasting their good years with each other in an exclusive sneak peek at this week's episode of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. Meanwhile, Darcy's twin sister Stacey accuses Georgi of being a half-assed version of a husband. Georgi remains upset that Darcy continues to air out their dirty laundry to both his and her family members. Darcy and Georgi are both worried about wasting their good years in an unhappy marriage as trouble continues to brew between them. In an exclusive sneak peek at this week's episode of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, things get heated between the two during an awkward car ride. Georgi begins by expressing frustration with his wife after she aired out their dirty laundry to his parents during their trip to Bulgaria, and later did the same with her father. Georgi reveals his disappointment with Darcy's actions. He feels Darcy is making it seem like he is the problem in their marriage, while she is nothing but innocent. This does not really help end our relationship, Georgi laments. It's like more kind of turning your family against me because how is this going to help you? So this is so disappointing because since my last conversation with Darcy, I think we're better, but we're still not there yet. 90 days Darcy and Stacy blow up at Georgi after learning he has been keeping a big secret. I'm not stupid. But Georgi pushes back against that notion. Actually, I'm wasting my good years, he declares, leaving both Stacy and her husband Florian in shock. Meanwhile, Darcy seems unfazed, contending that she is very powerful on my own and exclaiming, I'm 50 and fabulous. The dynamics between Darcy and Georgi are very strange to Florian, who is confused by how hot and cold their relationship is. One day is good, one day is bad, he says. Meanwhile, Stacy was more blunt with her assessment. I just feel like he needs more than just a half-assed version of a husband, she asserts alongside her husband. As the chaotic car ride continues, both Darcy and Stacy tell Georgi not to waste their time. Then, Stacy delivered one last jab.